Yashodanam nam nam Yashodanam nam nam Ramona Tira Vanachari Ramona Tira Vanachari Ramona Tira Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Srinidai Sachi Sutta ki jai, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra ki jai, Shri Radha Paris Ishwara Ki Jai. Grantaraj, I don't know what we're on today. Chaitanya Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Marathon Ki Jai. Go Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru Greg. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishtaya Bhatale. Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namani. Namaste Saraswati Devam. Gauravani Pracharine Nivasesha Sanyavadi. Pastachari Harine. So today we're reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita. But first we'll read another part, you could say, of Lord Chaitanya's Leela, eternal Leela, although it manifests on this platform perhaps as, in one sense, as a certain type of activity which appears to be according to time and circumstance. But the principle behind it, which is the principle of glorification, satatayuktanam bhajatam patipurvakam, principle behind it is eternal. And so we'll read that eternal feature, which is the glories of spreading the holy name, which even in this in the universe itself is eternal, because it will always go on. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes are taking place somewhere right now. The holy name is being spread, and he's taking place here on this planet, but he himself is personally present. So it's also an eternal feature, and what external form it may take may vary according to time and circumstance. Literally, printing of books maybe only started, I don't know when it really started in terms of the world around us, but in terms of the spreading of Krishna consciousness, it started with Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who started to print books. And then it was accelerated by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, whose 150th anniversary is coming up in a couple of months. I don't see any. I've asked the management to kind of be aware of this, but I haven't seen any indication whatsoever of any plans in that regards. I don't know if there is, but I haven't seen any. Worldwide, I haven't even seen much on ISKCON's worldwide forum either. As far as the Gaudiya Math is concerned, they're getting ready for the celebration of the century, basically. Very big day. Well, every day the same in one sense. In terms of modern sentimentality, especially 150 is held as some significant number for whatever reason it is, what it is. Like many things, it's kind of like just chosen for some reason. So anyway, they're doing a big thing. What exactly, I don't know. But it would be nice to honor that occasion. We won't get the chance ever again. In fact, 150 won't come up again in this, well, maybe never again, ever. I mean, can we say? It's not scheduled. So that's one thing. So he then accelerated the book publications tremendously, as we may know. And Prabhupada took that as his life and soul, as his primary instruction from his spiritual master. If ever you get money, print books. Practically that was his primary instruction, practically speaking. His mission was molded around that instruction. More or less, that was how it happened. And we know that Srila Prabhupada imparted that amongst other instructions, of course, which are also of great significance and, in one sense, equal importance. But in quantitative emphasis, he emphasized book distribution more than anything else in terms of practicality, not in terms of chanting Hare Krishna or coming to Mangal Arati or whatever like that, but in terms of the practical growth of the movement. Prabhupada's emphasis was more than anything else on the importance of distributing transcendental literature in society at large. So it's a spirit which Prabhupada had taken from his Guru Maharaj, which he's imparted in his movement, and still the flame still burns today. So those who catch on to that flame, and that's where we say you get fired up. when you get fired up, you catch on to the flame of book distribution, you can get fired up. It can be any service, but particularly this particular activity is, as we say, quantitatively, Srila Prabhupada put more emphasis on that than any other practical means of spreading Krishna consciousness. So yesterday we reports from, there were a few others came in late, but they'll be on tomorrow's score. So we've got 25 devotees yesterday reporting scores in the French Yatra in France. I'm going to start with the youngest and the, let me say many things, but we'll just say that. And with 1 medium book and 3 small books, Bhakting Sangita. That's her first books. She tried last week, but no one took. But this week, 4 books went out, so maybe she'll reach her quota. With a quota of 5 book points. I don't know if she knows that. If she does that for 3 weeks, I think she'll just about make it. Almost. 4 weeks, there's not 4 weeks left, but if she goes out 4 times, she'll make her quota. Maybe she'll go on Gita Jayanti and let's see. And then a massive, mega score, also from Nimayapur. Namacharya Prabhu with 1 Maha big book. Kind of. Then, with his record score so far during the marathon, with 1 Maha big book, 2 medium and 2 small, Bhakta Matya. Record score. Lowest. He said, I was getting excited. He said, he came out real late and he spent half the time chanting, I think, anyway. But he said, I did my record score today. I thought, wow, someone bought 10 Gitas and gave you 100 euros or something. He said, my lowest score. And I said, at least you should do 1 Gita. So someone other did 1 Gita. And then it says, 2 Gitas, Patita Pavana Prabhu. There's a score still to come from the yoga program last night. And they did some books there, presumably. And then with 3 Maha big books, Chitra Leela, Devi Dasi. And then a short while also in Paris, kind of came just as we were finishing almost, with 4 Maha big books and 3 magazines. Stayed a bit longer, I think. Jiva Pram Prabhu. Despite his busy schedule from so many angles, he still squeezes a little bit of Sankirtan in here and there. And then with 4 Maha big books, 1 medium book, 1 Arabic book, Priyarani Devi Dasi. And then with 6 Maha big books, 4 small and 1 magazine, Bhakti Vaibhav Prabhu. He hadn't been able to get out much. He went out last week. He does markets in Normandy somewhere. But last week everything was rained out. It was dreadful weather and he did nothing. All the markets were rained out. So he went out yesterday to the market. He sells other things. He has a stall at the market. But on the market stall he did 5 Bhagavad Gitas, 6 medium books and 2 small books, Nitai Sundar Prabhu. He's got a few programs lined up this next week or 2, so he might be a little bit more active. He used to be the top book distributor in France, Nitai Sundar Prabhu, for decades. He was the only one. But he was always a book distributor even when he was a young devotee. He really was. I mean, for 20 years, others came and went, but he was the only one really regularly going on book distribution as well as managing the temple, this temple, or previous buildings and so on. And then yesterday with 5 Maha big books, 1 medium and 2 small, Bhaktin Aliyah. And this is what they call it, a score after later on. It's not, what's it called? It's not a word, it's not pre, it's a word for that. Anyway, whatever it is, it's a score from last week or sometime last week, maybe from Thursday, I think. Basically speaking, 1 Arabic Gita and 3 small Arabic books, Bhaktin Sophia. You have to thank Priya Rani for that one. Or who was it? Vaibhav? Vaibhav, yeah, well, Vaibhav took them out and you preached them to take them. We were trying to, because she sold them the other day, and funny enough, I don't know who it was, Matthew or someone reported, I don't know who it was, somebody, last minute someone was at the railway station, he gave the books back. He was a real nice guy, I don't know if you remember, Muslim guy. He gave a good donation. And he gave them back. It was very strange. He looked like the most interested person amongst the Muslims. But he gave them back, so I said, well, just give them to somebody who wants them. So yesterday, Vaibhav had them in his bag and encouraged Sophie. She was excited. So anyway, that was it. And he gave a donation also. Didn't ask for it, but he gave one anyway. In the bus, coming back last night. And then in New Mayapur, biggest score so far in her in a marathon for this devotee, with 3 Maha Big Books, 7 medium, 16 small, and 1 Arabic book, Gandharvika Devi Dasi. Yeah. And also first time out yesterday, good score. These are all in tours, all these New Mayapur ones, by the way. With 3 Maha Big Books, 3 medium, 2 small, 1 Arabic Gita and 1 small Arabic book. Manjuali Devi Dasi. And then in Paris with 4 Maha Big Books, 5 medium, 4 small, 4 magazines and 2 Arabic books, me. And then with 10 Maha Big Books, 4 medium and 5 small, Ekanath Prabhu. And I guess in tours also. It's actually a very good book, this tour. It doesn't go out much at all. With 12 Maha Big Books, Fanny Bhushan Prabhu. And in Lisbon, they got geared up. They were out of books for a while there. Now they got books again. 9 Bhagavad Gitas, 1 big book, 2 medium, and 20 small. Mahananda Prabhu. And in Mauritius, my goodness, we're spreading our wings here. We're sending our Sankirtan devotees all over the world here to distribute books. With 12 Maha Big Books, 29 medium, and 10 small. Bhakti Yumi. She's on fire, isn't she? It's all done, authorized. The temple president in Mauritius said it's fine. Please put the scores on a French yatra. Everything was organized. And then with a very good score, I don't know if it's best score or not, maybe, in the marathon. With 16 Maha Big Books, 7 medium, 4 small, and 3 Arabic books. Back to Himanshu Prabhu. Himanshu, it should be Himanshu. And then, unfortunately, this will be her last. No, there'll be one. She got more books. But she's going away in a few days. That will be it for her marathon. With 10 Maha Big Books and 5 Arabic Bhagavad Gitas. Vaini Madhavi Devi Dasi. She cooked the lunch yesterday, if you don't know who she is, for the deities. And then, big 5. 19 Maha Big Books, 5 medium, 1 small, 8 magazines, and 9 Arabic books. That's his top Arabic score of the marathon. Dainatai Prabhu. And then, again, just arrived in Frejus. Now he's going to spending time in Frejus with Gokularani. I don't know if they're going out together, but he's certainly there. He can encourage her to show her a little bit more the art of book distribution. With 1 Srimad Bhagavatam set to begin with. Devaki Pran Prabhu. And then managed to escape yesterday. With 1 Maha Big Book, 1 medium, 1 small, and 1 Srimad Bhagavatam set. Chakradhar Prabhu. Taken a lot of books. Hasn't managed to get out the door very often. It's difficult for him to get out the door for various family reasons, you could say, I suppose. And then in second place, and this is astonishing, this wonderful grand, no, it was not a grand finale, but it lasted maybe, I'll ask that question. Anyway, with 20 Maha Big Books, 10 medium books, 13 small books, and 13 Arabic books. Bhakti Eleanor. Right, that's her. Definitely a top score. I think that's very credible. But she, unfortunately, whatever, she's leaving us today. Family commitments. I don't know. what your plan is after Christmas. Are you staying?
I'm coming back on 26 or 27.
Back to Paris?
Yes.
So we'll be blessed. Irene won't be here. She'll be in London.
Can stay.
Lose your tickets. Miss the train. What to do? They'll be upset. And yesterday together, they went together most of the time. I think we were together almost all the time. I think. So just see how association is so inspiring. So with 35 Bhagavad Gitas and 24 Arabic books, Harini Devi Dasi. Hare Krishna. Of course, poor Rasananda Prabhu is crying for not going out for 2 or 3 days now. And I don't know how long he's going to be indisposed, but let's see. Got to get his health together. And there were a few other scores, but we'll read those tomorrow. And that means a total yesterday of 185 Bhagavad Gitas, 1 big book, 84 medium, 89 small, 16 magazines, 7 Arabic Gitas. That's a lot. There's as many as more than we've done actually in the whole marathon to date. 58 small Arabic books and 2 Srimad Bhagavatam sets for a total of 796.85 book points. Well, it's not earth-shattering, but at least it's something. Pretty rising. It's been rising every day for the last 4 days. We had a bit of a lull there at the beginning of the week, going up slowly. So today's Sunday, of course. So Sunday is not usually the biggest day of the week for book distribution. And some devotees will take a day off today. Some may like to go out. There's some pressure on you. I just mentioned that in order to reach our quota, which is the Live to Give campaign by Sheshika Prabhu and his team, worldwide campaign, which we have 8,001 Bhagavad Gitas to distribute all in all. We've still got to distribute 3,490 Bhagavad Gitas to reach our quota. Nothing to do with points, just books. 3,490 Gitas, so bear that in mind. Doesn't mean we can just give them away free, but yeah. That is 230, it's going up, you see, every day it's going up because we're not reaching 230 or whatever it was yesterday. Now today it's 233. The days go down and the number goes up. Every day you go down, there's less days to divide the figures, so the number goes up. So 233 average a day, including Sundays. So Sunday's not always the biggest day. And we're hoping, somehow or another, that some scores will start coming in from what we call in English outstation centres, which are hardly reported so far. That's Guadeloupe, Martinique, Réunion, Mirepoix, hardly any,
Nancy.
Where?
Nancy.
Well, we keep Nancy up, but they haven't taken any books. How can they do any? If they don't have any books, they can't distribute any books. At least not on this system. So I don't know, not unless they printed their own. I wouldn't put it beyond them, to be honest. But anyway, let's see. Haribo, Sadhu. Hare Krishna. Nice to see you. Haribo, Mataji. Haribo. Please let them come forward to take darshan. And they'd like to stand at the front. So we'll make a corridor. So yeah. Sorry, Dial. So anyway, we'll just do what we can. We're not the doer. We're just instruments for the will of the Lord. It's Lord Chaitanya's mission. Just try to spread the holy name wherever we can, and wherever we meet, we try to inform them about Lord Chaitanya, about Lord Krishna, about the holy name, Krishna conscious, whatever it is. We just try to help people to have this opportunity to at least touch Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet somehow or another. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktivinoda
Jaya Chaitanya Jaya Gaura.
I don't know where I left off. If I did well, I think I gave class last Sunday also. We
Yesterday.
were on text number 8, I guess, wasn't it?
Yeah, today is 9.
9? Did we do 8 last week, did we?
Yesterday.
Oh, of course, yesterday. So on 9 today. Okay. Krishna nahi mani tate daicha karimani. Chaitanya namani le daiche daicha tarijani. Krishna nahi mani tate daicha karimani. Chaitanya namani le taiche daicha tarijani. Krishna nahi mani tate daicha karimani. Chaitanya namani le taiche daicha tarijani. Something like to chant?
Krishna nahi mani tate daita karimani. Chaitanya namani le taiche daita tarijani.
Krishna nahi mane tate daicha karimani. Chaitanya namani le taiche daicha tarijani.
Krishna nahi mani tate daita karimani. Chaitanya namani le daita tarijani.
Ladies. Krishna nahi mani tate daicha karimani. Chaitanya namani le taiche daicha tarijani. Krishna. Guess what that means? Yeah, but Prabhupada even says, Lord Krishna. Nahi. Does not. Mani. Accept. Tate. Therefore. Daicha. Demon. Karimani. We accept. Chaitanya. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Na. Without. Manile. Accepting. Taiche. Similarly. Daicha. Demon. Tare. To him. Jani. We know. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. We'd like to welcome everyone, of course, but we especially like to welcome Gopal, which you probably already did, and he's leaving us also today. I think, what time do you leave?
10 o'clock.
Quite early, after breakfast. He's heading back to London. He came all the way over yesterday, well, during the night basically, partly, and in the morning, to drive over the Bhagavad Gita in English. So we now have, well, yesterday, I don't know how many went out, but we have now 225 left in the book room. So 25 went out yesterday, but not all sold, but different. There's no shortage of English Bhagavad Gitas, so don't be shy. English Gitas now. And I don't know, of course, is heading off this week, today also, and we're expecting Kamala Sundari to arrive. And you don't know, some of you may know her, she's a disciple from Czech. She got initiated in New Mayapur a few months ago. She's staying in New Mayapur. And then she went to India with the intention of, she's a professional nurse, of helping in the hospital there, but somehow it didn't work out, didn't have an accommodation or something like that. And so she's now she's coming back here for a while, and then she'll be deciding what to do, whether to go on further with her studies or stay here or what. let's see, but she's coming for the marathon anyway. The rest of the marathon, that's the plan. Let's see what happens. So the translation is first, one who does not accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead is certainly a demon. Pretty heavy statement. There's a deep meaning to this. It's not so taken on the face.
Superficially.
Whatever, I get the idea. Taken as it is, people may take offense, and what can you say? But we'll see a little bit more about that in a minute. Similarly, anyone who does not accept Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Krishna, the same Supreme Lord, is also considered a demon. Even heavier statement if you're coming from, especially coming from a Hindu background, where, you may or may not accept that. You won't find those statements, maybe about Krishna. You might find his avatar Vishnu, for instance, which is, is not completely true at all. But there's some truth in that. It says that all the avatars appear to come through Lord Vishnu. It's the way they enter in, you could say. For many people, that's as far as it goes. They don't see beyond Vishnu. They don't understand the nature of the transcendental world. Without understanding that, then such statements like this are certainly quite challenging. If we stop either at whatever our limited understanding of the spiritual nature is, or we have none at all, or we're very dogmatic in our beliefs, or we're an ardent worshipper of Lord Vishnu, and sometimes Vaishnavas who follow Lord Vishnu and Lord Narayan argue over these things. Even Lord Chaitanya argued with Venkata for a long time over this subject matter. But their argument was one of great pleasure. Venkata mentioned, I know that Krishna is the source of everything, but still, my worship of the Lord is Lord Narayan. I can't, I accept Krishna is endowed with more qualities, but still I accept Lord Narayan. So generally Prabhupada didn't argue over these things when it came to that. Of course, being envious of Krishna, being directly offensive, denying and so on, that's another thing. But just having a stronger affinity for the worship of one of the forms of the Lord, and accepting that form of the Lord as the absolute, but not denying Krishna, so to speak, as a aspect of that. Prabhupada didn't usually argue much about those things. I don't have any record of such anyway. You carry on. You're worshipping Krishna in the form of this and this. But denial, saying it's an ordinary person, or figment of your imagination, or whatever, that's something else. Purport. Formerly there were kings like Jarasandha, who strictly followed the Vedic rituals, acted as charitable, competent Kshatriyas, possessed all Kshatriya qualities, and were even obedient to the Brahminical culture, but did not accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And sometimes they even said, he is the Supreme. Sometimes I've read sometimes the demons, they also say, they also sometimes say like that, but they can't act like that. We have the same kind of mentality sometimes, You know that person's, the boss or whatever, but you cannot follow. You're not going to follow them. You want to get rid of them. Kill them, get rid of them, Whatever it is. It's kind of like this strong kind of ego. So even if you do know he's the Supreme, you want to kill him or get rid of him. Sometimes that's also there. Or they may just not accept him at all as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jarasandha attacked Krishna many times, and each time, of course, he was defeated. How many times?
17.
17 times. And then on the 18th time, what happened? Ranchur. What is Ranchur?
Left the field.
Krishna left the field, yeah. As a coward, he left the field, he ran away, and had another business. a very special business regarding many things. He'd already transported all the residents of Mathura to Dwarka, and then he left, and a few other things, of course. There was another person involved at that time too. You remember who that was? Huh? Well, she was involved on the positive side. There was somebody involved on the negative side.
Shishupal.
Huh? Kalyavan.
Yes.
So Krishna took advantage of this various arrangements, and people may analyze it differently, but it's simply Krishna's will to achieve many purposes for the Leela and for everything else involved. Kalyavana. So Muchukunda, of course, was the deliverer of Kalyavana by Krishna's arrangement. And of course Jarasandha came later. First he thought he defeated Krishna. And in fact he thought he killed Krishna. And Krishna went up to that mountain, high up in the mountain with Balaram, just the two of them. And he set fire to the whole mountain. He put oils all over him. Couldn't find him. But little you know that Krishna and Balaram jumped a long way. And the mountain was quite high, higher than Mount Everest. And that always makes me amused that Krishna and Balaram were very tired, therefore they went up to the top of a mountain to take rest. It doesn't compute with my logic, but it's amusing. It's very amusing. Krishna can do anything he likes. So anyway, Jarasandha later on, of course, much to his displeasure, understood that Krishna was far from dead when he stole Rukmini from the Swayamvar ceremony. And she was choosing her suitor. It wasn't actually her suitor. It wasn't a Swayamvar. Her suitor was chosen. She had no choice. It wasn't a Swayamvar. She had no choice. Already Shishupal had been appointed as her husband by none other than her brother, whose name was? Rukmi. When we do this drama, some of you who have been at New Mayapur with Paravida will have seen this drama every single year for at least 5 years. This year I declined from I didn't take part this year, did I? I don't think so. No, I didn't. No, I didn't take part. Every year he tries to twist my arm, take part in this event, one part or another. But this year I didn't take part. He took my part. He was with me, right? Yeah, he was with me this year. But his mic didn't work, so it didn't go on. Everyone else's mic was going well, but his mic didn't work properly. You could hardly hear what he said. And he was speaking very fast, he gets excited sometimes. Anyway, that was another incident of this pastime, another aspect of this pastime, Krishna's plan to kidnap Rukmini. And of course this was, it's Krishna. This rascal's at it again. You're gonna kill him. And they're all on the warpath, Of course they tried. Nobody can kill God. We may deny him, we may try to defeat. Literally there you can try to kill him. Mayavadis, they try to obliterate his existence. The materialists, they just deny his existence altogether, or diminish his existence to an ordinary platform. And very few accept him as the absolute truth, source of everything, Ishvara Parama Krishna. Very few, isn't it? Even in India, it's like, he's one of many, right? He's there. I love him, I worship him, whatever people say, but he's one of everything. He's just all one. Usually. All the gods are one. They all have their part to play. They're all, you could say, part of the great overall body of the Absolute, but they're not the absolute source of the Absolute. So, but most people have why? Because they have other objectives. Their objective is not unalloyed surrender, unalloyed pure devotion. They have some motive. I want to become God, I want to attain heavens, I want to attain material success, and so many different selfish motivations. one just get free of suffering, and therefore we approach the particular department which deals with that, and the leader of that department. So each time, of course, he was defeated, like Jarasandha. Any man who performs Vedic rituals but does not accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be considered an asura. There are two kinds of persons, sura and asura. Asuras are devotees of Krishna, and asuras are those who are not. In English, the word demon is a very heavy word, but that's the literal translation. Similarly, one who does not accept Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Krishna himself is also a demon, and that's even more, you could say, extreme is not the word, but even more radical statement, since most people have never heard of Lord Chaitanya in the first place. Even amongst Hindus, right?
I never heard.
Never heard of him. You may have read of him, and you may read about Krishna. Even if you look in the Encyclopedia Britannica, it may say just, the avatar of Vishnu or something, according to Hindu mythology or something like
Saint.
that. But Lord Chaitanya, what will it say?
Saint.
Maybe a saint, if it, at most. An epileptic. He's described as an epileptic, believe it or not. In some definitions. People describe it in different ways, a Hindu saint is like a creditable one. And sometimes you see it amongst the Vaishnava sect, they accept him as an avatar of Krishna or a form of Krishna or something. That's the most you'll get. But it's not known by most people in India. And even if they do accept him, as you say, they accept him as a great saint, Hindu saint, not much more than that, if they've heard of him at all. Very few. There are a few, I think Tukaram and a few others, other than the Gaudiya line, understand Lord Chaitanya's divinity and his mission and so on, but very few. Very few. He's maybe honored. Like if you go to Puttapati, Sai Baba, Puttapati, near Bangalore. He has Sai Baba is of course no longer physically present, but he has his main headquarters in Bangalore, and just near Bangalore, Puttapati is the name of the village, which is a huge complex, Sai Baba's complex there. Even there they have a statue of Lord Chaitanya. Now it's not that he worships Lord Chaitanya, he's in the mood that he is Lord Chaitanya. There are many persons who think they are Lord Chaitanya. You'll find this in Vrindavan also. There's one famous guru, I won't mention his name, but he also considers himself none other than Lord Chaitanya reincarnate. He's dead and gone now, but there's a huge temple next to the Krishna Balaram temple dedicated to him, made of marble. It's probably the most materially attractive temple in Vrindavan, probably. It's just a few hundred meters down the road from Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi, and he's got his Samadhi there. And you can't help but see it if you go into Vrindavan. It's huge. It's called the Prem Mandir. So that's dedicated to him, and he considered himself none other than Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this is what's going on, and people worship like this, So again, another great deviation, but what can you say? So what's happening in this Kali Yuga, particularly in Kali Yuga? People we heard the other day how so many people worship ordinary people as Lord Ramchandra or Lord Krishna. They dress them up like that, worship them. There are temples of movie stars, cricket players, and all kinds of things in India where they worship them as avatars, practically speaking. So these things are going on. It's demoniac mentality. Demoniac mentality basically can be reduced to just seeing oneself in the center, basically, or seeing an ordinary person in the center. This is the conclusion. Similarly, this is the conclusion of the authoritative scriptures. Therefore, both so-called devotees of so-called devotion to Gaur-Sundar without devotional service to Krishna, and so-called Krishna Bhakti without devotion service to Gaur-Sundar are non-devotional activities. So where do you stand? There are many persons who worship Lord Narayana, worship Krishna. They don't worship Lord Chaitanya. Where do they stand? Generally, the worshippers of the Lord Chaitanya worship Krishna, generally. Lord Chaitanya told us to do. But you don't find that amongst the worshippers of Krishna or other forms of Krishna very often. So where do they stand? Prabhupada doesn't use the word demon here. It says they're engaged in this particular line. He says non-devotion. You mean there's no value there? Well, I bought some tissues down. I don't know where
Yeah, just on the left.
Huh?
On the left.
Oh, thank you. Where do they stand? Well, we certainly don't go around saying that you're a demon, right? You know, they've got beautiful deities in their home, Krishna. Nice temple, very pious. They're not do we don't classify them as demons, do we? Who are we to classify anyone as a demon? I'm certainly a demon. So who are we to call others demons? So what is it? Is there any practical understanding here? Or is it just heavy words, or just, you know, strong passion? You know, when someone loves somebody, sometimes they can't tolerate love for anyone else. You know, sometimes that's there. It's like, no way. There's so much in love. Maybe that's can be seen, but how do we understand this? What do you think? Bhakti Sar, you're a learned scholar. You're coming from a pious background. What do you think, my man? You're also a learned scholar from a pious background. Where were you born, Bhakti Sar?
New Delhi.
Born in New Delhi. By Bhav?
Uttarakhand.
Uttarakhand? Very pious place. Gopal was born in Mauritius, is that right?
Yes, Maharaj.
Mauritius. It's an offshoot of India. Any comments? It's something like we could say, you know, when you hear Mayavad, the word Mayavad, and you hear the word Brahmavad, you've heard these two terms? What's the difference? Is there a difference? What's the difference?
Yeah. Mayavadi, they think they are God, and Brahmavad, they worship Brahman, they are to the Brahman.
As the absolute knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a nice perspective. Anything else on that? Mayavad and Brahmavad? They both, in one sense, accept the impersonal Brahman as the absolute, nothing beyond it, really. But as you say, their mentality is a little different, and there's more to that than just that. There's very...
It is that we worship Krishna to become Krishna.
Mm.
Or use Guru and then leave him and then become...
They're envious of Krishna.
Yeah.
They're extremely envious of Krishna.
While Brahmadi is not.
Brahmavadis just don't know.
Mm.
They're they can be, both of them are very austere, and they may be followed very strictly, and they may achieve some high platform of self-realization of some kind. But the Brahmavadis, they're not envious of Krishna. They just are not, aware of, the personal aspect. And when they hear about the personal aspect, they're not against it. Whereas the Mayavadi is against that. They're against it. They deny it. They argue against it. Everything under the sun. The Brahmavadi won't do that. They may or may not have that affection. They may not have that attraction, but they're not envious like that. So in a similar way, now if in the proper circumstances, if someone comes across, people are unfortunate because they're so conditioned, but if in the proper circumstances they hear about Krishna and they're not envious, even though they never heard of him before, they're just not, they're not mature to that stage yet. When they get to that stage, at that stage, if then they become envious, then that is demonic. It makes sense or not?
Yeah.
The same thing with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I'll probably explain. If you argue and fight, you're not going to get anywhere. But in terms of presentation, Shastic evidences, and so many other, perhaps, say, reasons, a person's not envious. They may not have an affection, they may not have an attraction towards worshipping the Lord in that form, but they're not envious. They're not envious. They're not against, like Jarasandha or Shishupal or Kamsa. They're against Ravana. They're against the demoniac. Even if they hear that he's God, which they did many times, and they no, they either deny it or if he is, I'm going to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of him. Install myself. That type of mentality. And people in general may be possessed of demoniac behavior because they're ignorant. But if they get the chance, and we're also like that, we still have our doubts. Doubts are like demons. Described there in the Bhagavad Gita, they're just like the doubts are like demons. They have to be cut down. Doubts are like demons. They're blocking our devotion. They're blocking our advancement in Krishna consciousness. They are there, they have to be removed, that's all. It's like if there's some poison in the system, it has to be removed. It's there. Otherwise you're going to perish and die. The Christians, of course, they have on another platform the same type of thing, you know. What's that word? And they say, they use the word surrender, what they say. Did they use the word surrender in Christianity? Or perish. They have this sense. Surrender. You know, you have to surrender to Jesus or perish. You know, they go around with their boards sometimes. You know. Burn in hell, you know, forevermore. It doesn't say that. Even if you are possessed of demoniac mentality, it's just a temporary covering of the living entity who is pure by nature. The nature of the pure soul, I mean, we have to go through a few times different experiences, even the experience of merging into Brahman for many, and it's a lot. There's no time measurement, so you can't say, but that is also not a complete, that's not also the constitutional living entity to remain in the Brahmajyoti, just existing in Brahmananda, feeling the ecstasy of just, I don't know, vibrating, spiritual vibrations. I like spiritual vibrations. People say that sometimes. Wow, I like those vibrations. It's something like a little sample of Brahman or something. But that's not the eternally constitution of the soul. It's a part of it that you're eternal, but it's not complete. It's not complete. That's not going to fully satisfy the soul for ever existence. So that's. Most people don't have any knowledge of Brahman. Want to speak of that was beyond. Nothing much. Most people's only concept of religion is within the material sphere, more or less. Heaven, raising up to heaven. That's the highest most people believe in. They don't go much beyond that. Some do, but not many. We just finished the purport. If one wants to be successful on the path of Krishna consciousness, he must be thoroughly conscious of the personality of Gaurasundar as well as the personality of Krishna. Now there's another aspect here where particularly we see this perhaps in Christianity, which is, says, I am the way, the truth, the light, no man shall come to God but through me. And that, of course, that's an interpretation of the original words, originally in whatever language it was in. It's in Greek, is an interpretation of that, which is more in the text of a present text rather than a timeless text, referring to the situation you. It's like you say the same thing, only through the spiritual master can you get the mercy of Krishna. It's the same principle. It's just interpreted according to, let's say, the limited realization or understanding, because there's lack of, let's say, self-realized souls. There's a lack of enlightened leadership to understand it in a broader picture, so they see it in a very narrow picture. And in one sense, there's nothing wrong with that, but to superimpose that on everybody else is a limiting factor. It's limiting the actual purpose of that statement, which is an interpretation of the statement, which is not exactly, it's actually a present statement in terms of the tense, the original Greek tense. But of course they won't accept that. That's okay. But one shouldn't deny, other, let's say, avenues. So the principle is the same, that through the spiritual master one approaches Krishna. In Kali Yuga, through Lord Chaitanya, and here we're talking about, again, a high principle in terms of Lord Chaitanya has come to give the Yuga Dharma, he's come to give the method of achieving the actual highest perfection, Krishna Prema, love of God. In other yugas he does, he comes in the form, as we heard the other day, of Gaur Narayan, but he only teaches Aishwarya Bhav, the worship of Lord Narayan. He doesn't teach, Madhurya Ras or anything like that. Nothing. But it doesn't give the opportunity. There's no opportunity for it. It's not available. That's only available by the mercy of, Madhurya Bhakta. In this case, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in that mood. Maybe in some of the sampradayas it's Vatsalya Bhav. But this is the unique feature of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to give that. And that fruit is where Madhavendra Puri is said to be like the Kalpa Vriksha tree. From a Kalpa Vriksha tree, all fruits can come. So in Lord Chaitanya's movement, even if one not, and we see this in the case that we mentioned, Venkata Bhatt from Sri Rangam, his family. There are others like Murari Gupta, Sringananda Brahmacharya, others who worship the Lord in other forms. They worship Lord Chaitanya, they accept him as being none other than Radha and Krishna, or form of Radha and Krishna. But their heart, their bhav is not that Madhurya, is not in that same mood, it's a different mood. They can chant Hare Krishna, but their real attention is, or their real attraction is towards other forms of the Lord, Sita Ram, Lord Nrsimhadev, or whatever it may be. There's nothing wrong with that. That's perfect. Lord Chaitanya was ecstasy with Murari Gupta's dedication to Sita Ram. He said, I'll have to give up my life if you want me to stop my worship of Sita Ram and worship Radha Krishna. I accept what you say, but I have to give up my life. I can't. That's me. That's just me. Lord Chaitanya embraced him and was in ecstasy, saying, you are none other than Hanuman. How can Hanuman give up the worship of Sita Ram? That's madness. No way. Or Nandi, even Nandi the bull. Lord Shiva also has his eternal associates, a different, you could say, level, but he has his eternal associates. They're eternally his servants. But they're not in opposition to Krishna. They're in cooperation. There's no opposition there. There's no competition there. United purpose. United purpose. If they understand the mission of Krishna, of the Lord. Or they are the Lord in a different expansion. So it's a matter of our attitude more than anything else. It's not necessarily what we're maybe doing at this moment of time, but what is our inner attitude? The degree of our envy of the Supreme. We're in this world because of envy, because we don't accept, initially anyway, maybe trying to change that, but we didn't accept Krishna as the center of everything and the object of our lives. So he puts us under his illusory energy, and now religious of various kinds are supposed to help transform that envy into devotion and love. Whether they do or don't, that's another thing, but that's what they're supposed to do, what it's for. We also have our homework. It's not like, we're holier than thou. We may have the same mentality, the same envious attitude, the same doubts as anyone else. Some or other, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we come in contact with Lord Chaitanya's movement, but we may still have our doubts. I know a lot of the boys have these. We all do, I do too. So many doubts which are unfavorable for pure devotional service. So therefore we don't get pure devotional service until they're removed. That's why Krishna kills the demons. If you read the Krishna Lila in Bhagavatam, we hear some demons who are killed by Krishna. That's not an exhaustive list, but that's the primary demons who are killed by Krishna. In Vrindavan or out of Vrindavan, but particularly in Vrindavan, they are all likened to demons. They are demons, but those demons are various attitudes of the living entity also. Whether it's lust or doubt, direct doubt, or attachment to varna and ashram, or whether it's quarrelsome nature, or frivolous nature, or greedy, or envious, or angry, whatever it is that living entities are covered by and identified with, are to be killed, and to be removed. And Krishna killing the demons represents the killing of all these various doubts, or anarthas, unwanted desires or attitudes which we may have. Pride. Pride is the all-pervasive one, you could say. That's why we're in the world in the first place. Envy and pride are inseparable. Envy leads to pride. Pride leads to envy. They're kind of one and the same thing in one sense. So they have to be killed, otherwise we'll just be stuck in our whatever we're in. We won't go anywhere. We may be attached to where we are, but that's not going to help us in terms of self-realization, which is given by Krishna. So as long as the heart is contaminated, we can't enter into Vrindavan. Beautiful song of Narottam Das. Ishaya Chariya Kabe Shrida Habiman Kabe Hamahe Rabo Shrida. How can you enter into Vrindavan if you're envious of Lord Chaitanya? Come on. Is it possible? Radha and Krishna themselves, and if you're openly envious, I don't accept them. No way. Maybe in other ages, of course, Lord Chaitanya is not appearing, but in this particular age, he's appeared. And if you're envious of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, there's no way Krishna's going to be pleased. It's not like, never mind, as long as you love me. It's not like that. He is Radha and Krishna himself, the same person. So other ages may be different, but then you don't get Krishna Prema the way Lord Chaitanya is given. You may get some other aspect of Godhead. But you won't be envious of Lord Chaitanya. It's just he's not part of that, Leela, or part of that process, that time, so to speak. If you do hear about him, you'll be very elated, very happy. But that's why it's important to preach Krishna consciousness, and Lord Chaitanya's position is so important, because people don't know. They don't know. It's very important. In this day and age, everybody's heard of Radha and Krishna, but you go to the Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan, even there, so we don't get the same thing in New Mayapur, but you see, first you see Gaur Nitai, then you see Radha Krishna, Krishna Balaram temple, Krishna Balaram, then Radha Krishna. But hardly anyone looks. They look at Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda, and then they move on, and you've got to beat them almost to get. They come to Krishna Balaram and they're kind of looking. Is that Radharani? They're not. Many of them don't know who it is either. They're not quite sure. They're not familiar with Krishna Balaram. But it makes more sense than going Nitai to them. And then they go to Radha Krishna, and you've got to beat them with sticks to get them away from there, practically. Right? You've seen in Navashan Sundar Temple. You don't have that problem. New Mayapur, you've got to beat them with sticks to go there in the first place. But, in Vrindavan, knows Radha Krishna, but Krishna Balaram maybe, but that's not my mood, And Gaur Nitai, who are they? What is this? They have no idea. 99% of the Indians are coming. What is this? Strange form Krishna they've got on the altar here. It's not my cup of tea, It's like, where's Radharani? Is that Radharani? What's she doing there with her arms up like this? They're bewildered. And they just generally look once and look the other way. That's what they usually do. Move on. They have no no knowledge. They don't know. But to approach Radha and Krishna, I say, you go through Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through that mood, the arrangement of Krishna himself. Okay, we're going to finish there. See, they're not offensive, at least they're getting the opportunity. That's why Baba want that. They do, and they usually go like this and kind of, and they move on, you know. Maybe they put something in the box, you know. So they're not like envious, they're just in ignorance, they don't know. It's Gaudiya Vaishnava's duty to try to spread that understanding of the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Okay. Yes, Baba.
Is it okay, Maharaj, to ask?
Yeah.
Quick question. So Maharaj, you were telling that the religion is meant for transformation. I see that it seems quite impossible to, of course, in my strength it is impossible, but Krishna's mercy it is possible. But in one life, Prabhupada has often emphasized that in this lifetime and one life and in 1 minute. But it seems... 1 moment? Yeah, in 1 moment Prabhupada says, so how is it possible? Because I'm seeing like from so many...
Banga Maharaj, in 1 moment, he just fully focused on Krishna.
Yeah.
Some Prasad Prabhu? Yes.
So I can see in my life from so many, of course, it depends on subjective, but there's no transformation kind of, and it seems so impossible. The goal is like when we reach Chaitanya Charitamrita or something, it's so
Prema.
huge. Yeah.
We're walking around in prayer. I was thinking this morning when I'm in the bathroom, and I'm in the bathroom. I was in the bathroom this morning. I was thinking, why are you not chanting Hare Krishna? I mean, talking to myself. You know, preaching to myself. I was preaching to myself. You used to do that almost all the time. Why are you not doing it? What's wrong with you? You're cleaning the room. I cleaned my room this morning a bit, tidied up, not cleaning. Why are you not chanting Hare Krishna? What's wrong with you? You've got no love for Krishna. I was telling myself like that. No transformation. Maybe going the other way. Transforming the other way. Sometimes it seems like that almost, you know. So what's going on here? Well, this is a special, you could say, unseen maybe. You can't guarantee that that's what's going on, but on the positive side, that could be going on. It's special mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we all have our anartas. And we all know that when we first come to Krishna consciousness, it's like boom, you know. It's like all the blossoms, the flowers all blossom or something, you know. And then they kind of sometimes dry up a little bit. You know, we're not watering them properly maybe. Maybe some offense is there, you know, something's happened. Or just the fact that they may have blossomed, but they've got to blossom a lot more. And we're not doing enough for the full blossom to take place, you know. Different things may be there, that's from the practical point of view. There's another aspect going on. Lord Chaitanya, mercy of Lord Chaitanya is not always defined in terms of a visible, something visible, something, what you're experiencing now. Why have I no love of God? Why am I not making any progress? Now, you didn't do that when you were young. You just thought, I know for the first 5 years I was in the movement, I thought, it's all over. It's just a matter of days now, we're back to Godhead. I had no interest in anything but devotional service. Any thought came along, spat at it, you know. And then, you know, it became a little less like that as the years went by, you know, and anyway, it's not so bad, no one's looking anyway. Okay, it's too much for me, I think I just better compromise and go down a few pegs here. All sorts of things came along. I didn't want to make that next step to, you know, really take that leap of faith, as some people say. So Lord Chaitanya has another thing going on here, associates, to remove these other deep down, you don't see them when you first come, deep down doubts, anartas, attachments, which are really deep in our hearts. We don't even know it. Deep tendencies in our heart, very deep, which come up and slow down, seemingly slow down, but it's this ongoing process of removal of these various, you know, whatever they are, anartas of various kinds. Now there's another aspect here. Despite all of these anartas, I can't remember who it was who said this directly. It was a senior devotee, it wasn't Mataji. I don't think it was Vishaka, but somebody, one of our senior God sisters said that Prabhupada personally told them, said, If you simply, it could be applied to any service, by the way. If you dedicate your whole life to book distribution, no matter what your problems are, when the time of death comes, Lord Chaitanya will personally appear, embrace you, and take you back to God. It's not a question of what we do or where we think we're at. It's a question of Lord Chaitanya's, what he does, what he feels. You can't see it going on sometimes. The purification of heart is not always so easy to define. We often define it only on the positive side. I feel ecstasy, I feel freedom from this thing. I've got no problems anymore. I'm just, wow, I must be a pure devotee. Whatever you think it means, it's not always the measure of whether you're pleasing Lord Chaitanya. No. Not always the measure. It might be, but it's not always. It will go along with this selflessness, this dedication. As Vishwanath Chakravarti said, the instruction of my spiritual master is all that matters to me. It is my sadhana and my sadhya. I have no other goal other than that, to fulfill that instruction. Even if you put me in hell, I don't mind. You may make me suffer, I don't mind. But the instruction of my Guru Maharaj is all that matters to me. This is the mood. And this is, in one sense, what's happening. We're just beginning. We're at the beginning stage. But that's basically what's happening. That despite all these, wow, why isn't it happening anymore? But you still dedicate, you rededicate, you keep dedicating. You don't give up. You don't give up. You carry on. This is sincerity. Lord Chaitanya is looking for your sincerity of purpose. Not just, looking at a devotee because, they're feeling good or they're getting good results. They may be there, may not be there. But he's looking at the sincerity of purpose within your heart. That's my understanding anyway. Makes any sense, I don't know. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is looking for that. He's looking at our hearts. Whether we still want to do our own thing or we want to do what he wants. We want to do our own thing, that's something else. And that's most of it. That's why we're always juggling, pushing, preaching, trying to get divorced, reasoning, begging, so on and so forth. Otherwise, no. As someone was saying when they were coming back, who was that saying? Gopal was saying that in London, he said, all year round, when you ask somebody to do something, they say, I'm tired, I'm busy, I've got to do something else. During Kartik, they come to you, is there anything I can do for you? No, we don't see that in the West, but amongst many Indian people, it's like that. This month, I can get all the pious benefits that I don't get during the year in 1 month. So let me just try to make that one effort for this month. It's all right. That's what it's there for. Prabhupada said, Kartik is for karmias. He said that. For devotees, every day is Kartik. 100% surrender every day. But for those who are not, and Kartik is like, Kaddish is like that too. Wow, one day, full on. We don't deny that. We don't ignore these things. We take advantage. And we're also lazy fellows. So we really need all the help we get. That kind of laziness is very strong. We put ourselves in, laziness means we're putting ourselves in the center. What I want, not what Krishna wants. As for devotee, tries to regulate, minimize the necessity of anything which is not pleasing to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanandi.